for any of you guys that don't know, this is the poly tank from Vintage Tank Solutions. I bought this a couple of months ago. You will need to do this conversion. And what I did was took a TIG filler rod, dropped it in here, and I made a measurement. And then I took that measurement and found out that the tank was roughly about 10.5 inches deep. Once I got that measurement, this is an OEM S13 or R32 Skyline fuel pump hanger. Took a quick measurement off of this and noticed that this distance, essentially from the flange to the bottom of the hanger, is shorter than that distance, aka R32 Skyline or S13 fuel pump hanger will fit inside of that tank with a little bit of fabrication. Even though I had that OEM fuel pump hanger, we're gonna make a minor upgrade. This is the same S13 or R32 Skyline fuel pump hanger from Radium. This allows you to run triple pump setup if you want to. You can run a multitude of different fuel pumps, AEM, Walboro, but this is what we are going to be putting in this tank. So the first thing I had to do to figure out this conversion was I 3D printed a couple of templates that matched the diameter of this fuel pump hanger. So the first one I made is a flange and a gasket, both of which I had made by SendCutSend. But the other thing that you're probably gonna need if you wanna do this same conversion is I made a drilling template so that I could locate the center of this shim. The first thing you're gonna do is take the drilling template that I have, place it on the top of the tank, figure out the orientation of which way you want the fuel pump hanger to go. After you have that, you're gonna drill a hole through the center of the template, cleco this down so that you have a locked in surface. From there, you're gonna drill the 6 other remaining holes, cleco all that down, and then you're gonna use the hole saw to cut out a giant hole. I know that's scary for a lot of people, but if you want this conversion, that's what you gotta do. All right, so after the hole is in, we're gonna cleco this, make sure that we have our angle. You're gonna take a 15/64 drill bit and drill the other 6 holes. Put this exactly where I want it. Just to be safe really quick, so this doesn't rotate on me. Cool. Now drill the other ones. You got your 6 holes. After you have that, you can take the one that doesn't have the drill guide in the center, pull your cleco out, bam, and swap to this one. Put in the remaining clecos. All right, good to go. So after you have the template clecoed down to the tank, you're gonna grab yourself a 4.5 inch hole saw. The center hole that we drilled originally, the first one, actually is a 1/4 inch, so this will fit through here. Little quick tip when you're doing this, if you run your hole saw in reverse, it gives a little bit of a cleaner cut. So let's get this opened up. All right, and just like that, you got a hole in the tank. All right, once you got the template off, use just a little deburring tool. Just clean your tank up just a little bit. And after you have your hole cut, deburred and everything, make sure to inspect and clean out your tank. You do not want to leave these shavings down in there. After you got the tank cleaned out, put it on a nice little table so it doesn't get all messed up. And we're gonna install the custom shims that I had made by SendCutSend. The templates that you use to cut the giant hole are the exact things that you can have ordered at SendCutSend. I did have these custom made. So what you're gonna see here, and I can supply this for anybody that is wanting to do this conversion. I had the shim made out of stainless steel so that I never have to worry about it anymore being inside of the tank. And then the gasket is made from cork. So take a look at this. You have a cork gasket. This will go on the top side, and then a stainless steel shim that has to go on the inside. And if you'll notice what I had installed on the bottom of the shim, these are nut inserts, so it gives it something to grab. These are threaded for M5 by 8 pitch thread. It's the same exact hardware that comes with the Radium fuel pump. So the only other modification that you do have to do to this that I didn't have SendCutSend do is you do need to make a slit in this shim so that you can rotate it into the tank. So we'll do that first. All right, after you have the slit in, you are gonna have to bend it a little bit just to open it up some, but that will allow you to rotate it in. Then you can stick your hands down in here, bend it back into place a little bit. This is a little bit of the complicated part. Once you have the shim in, you do need to get a little bit of like RTV gasket maker. Make sure it is some form of oil resistant. And you're just gonna spread this on the shim. Rotate it in the tank a little bit. Being careful not to get it everywhere. All right, once you have the sealant on the gasket, just stick your other hand in here and just kind of put it all over the top side of that surface. Just working it around. Then you're gonna grab some more Clecos. And what you're gonna do is put your hand back in here on the inside. You're gonna try to line one of these holes up. Cleco this to the top side. Then after you have one, you can kind of maneuver around a little bit. And we're all lined up. Gonna take a couple of more of these alligator Clecos just to hold this in place. Cool. After you have the shim held down with the Clecos, this would be a good time to get yourself a rag, just some IPA, and clean up any of that gasket that may have made itself onto the bottom of the tank or the wall or anything. I'm just kind of wiping down the inside so that there's not any residual just hanging out the bottom. We got the tank cleaned up just a little bit. Now we're gonna move on to the next step. I gotta let this sit for a little while so that the sealant can basically harden, cure up a little bit. Make sure, like I said, last little check that there is no sealant break off or anything at the bottom of the tank. Make sure you get that. And the next step is we are actually going to build the fuel pump. So I highly advise for anybody to go maybe print off the instructions for building the fuel pump. I don't know, helps me out a lot easier. So I'm not gonna go through every waking detail of this. We're gonna swap over to just some video footage, maybe a little montage of building the fuel pump, but I'll get back to you guys once we're done with that. If you're wondering why I'm doing this conversion when there are other options on the market that are way easier, like Holley or Aeromotive, let me take a moment to explain. I get fixated on a certain level of quality, and when I believe in a company who aligns with that same vision, I tend to keep a level of loyalty to them. It is for this reason I've chosen to work with other companies like Haltech for engine management or Speed Hut for the gauges. It's companies like Radium and others that put innovation and improvement at the forefront of their mantras that drives me to use their products. And with an undying track record, Radium Engineering has proven themselves time and time again in countless areas of motorsports. With attention to detail, it's no wonder I'm drawn to such a company. The other benefit to this setup is future-proofing. This particular fuel pump hanger has the ability to have a triple pump setup, and while we are not doing that from the get-go, the car will be wired so that we have that option for later. And when and if the need presents itself to do so, it will be as simple as lifting the hanger out and installing extra pumps. Alright, Cleco is off. And before I pull the last two, I'm gonna make sure I got my tools ready. Gonna put the shim on and install this for the final time. Connector down in. All right, get the last little bit of torque. And that, guys, is how you put a Radium Skyline fuel pump hanger in a Datsun tank.